If you clicked on this video, you're probably an artist and concerned that your job may be coming to a close here soon due to AI. And rightfully so, because that's the narrative that you've been fed. But as an artist myself, I'm here to say that it's actually the total opposite. This is a complex subject with lots of layers to unpeel, so I've attempted to break it down into three main topics. Number one, AI is a tool, not an artist. Number two, AI still requires skill. And number three, AI won't replace you. Someone using AI will. So let's dive into the first topic. AI is a tool, not an artist. AI is a powerful tool, and just like any other creative tool, you still have to direct it. Just like Photoshop, just like a drawing tablet, just like your camera. But the narrative going around online is that AI is a magic tool that anyone can use and just immediately produce great results with. The reality is you still need creative fundamentals. You still need to have creative knowledge and foundations and everything that you've built up as a creative and artist to be able to effectively drive the AI to create good results. You wouldn't expect someone to be able to go into Photoshop with no creative experience or background and be able to produce amazing things, would you? You could give two creatives Photoshop, one that has 20 years of creative experience and one that has 1 or 2 years of experience. Who do you think is going to produce the better work? Taste and experience and fundamentals are going to matter arguably more than ever in an AI-dominated future. And the success of the final work that leverages AI is fully dependent on the creative driving it. I also create content over on LinkedIn, and I'm connected with a lot of creative professionals over there, most of whom are posting AI experiments. And every day I see amazing AI work, and I also see horrible AI work. I see both sides of the spectrum, and so I'm fully convinced, at least in AI's current state, that the human is still required to drive it. In other words, your ability to produce quality work with AI is fully dependent on your personal skill level and experience level as a creative. Here's another way to put this. If you take a beautiful cast iron pan and a handcrafted steel cutting knife and you gave that to a Michelin star chef, they're gonna make a delicious meal and probably be better equipped with those tools in hand. Now, if you give those same tools to a non-chef, well, he's gonna make because he's not gonna know how to leverage those tools any better than the next person. Whereas the professional chef knows how to use the better tools at his disposal, and that's gonna be reflected in the quality of the food at the end result. My second topic I wanted to cover is that AI still requires skill. There is a process that you have to learn in order to speak to AI. Oftentimes, I'll prompt in MidJourney for hours until I get a result that I'm satisfied with, tweaking the prompts ever so slightly, or just using my creative taste and judgment because, I'm not happy with a certain set of images. It isn't as simple as just typing a couple things into a keyboard and out popping the perfect image. If that point is in question, I would encourage you to download MidJourney and you'll see for yourself. It's not exactly plug and play. And so because of this, there's a whole new industry being born around something called prompt engineering, which is effectively your ability to speak to AI and understand these softwares, much like your knowledge in Photoshop. Companies are starting to provide lucrative jobs for creatives that understand these tools. So to say that you'd be replaced by anyone with access to these AI tools doesn't really make much sense. Because the fact of the matter is, to master these tools is just like mastering any other creative technique or creative tool. This isn't to discredit other forms of art making. For example, you might have spent 10 or 15 years getting really great at drawing, but it is to say that there is still a unique process that you must learn in order to learn these AI tools. Just like any other creative skill, really. I think the reason why people are getting upset over that is because it's unlike anything we've seen in history. The act of typing some words into a computer screen and out-popping imagery is so new and radical that people just don't know how to react to it. But at the end of the day, it's really just like anything else that we've seen as creatives. I mean, it's literally exactly like Photoshop in my opinion. It's just different subset of it, different genre. And while it's possible that you'll be replaced by people who have really deep knowledge in AI and AI prompting, the fact of the matter is you could also learn it yourself and be protected. Not only protected, you might be even more competitive than them if they're coming from a non-creative background. Your creative knowledge and skills and sensibilities layered on top of your knowledge in AI is what's going to make you infinitely more competitive and powerful over the average person just using these tools. And that brings me to my third and final point, which is AI won't replace you, someone using AI will. Now that might sound cliche, and I know a lot of people say that, but it's absolutely true. You do risk being replaced if you don't take the time to learn and figure out how these tools work within your process. Because at the end of the day, they do enhance and speed up your creative process tenfold. And the person equipped with the AI knowledge versus you, well, you can do the math there. As a professional designer myself, I've leveraged AI already to enhance many aspects of my creative process, both creatively and from an efficiency and time perspective. I've even used it to create product photos for brands, using a combination of traditional tools like Photoshop and new AI tools like MidJourney. So in this sense, someone using AI is a real threat to, say, a traditional photography studio. But not if that photography studio decides to learn and embrace the AI tools themselves. Because in that case, they are so hyper niched and specialized in product photography that it'd be hard for me to compete with as someone who has a decent understanding of photography and video, but doesn't necessarily specialize in it. Their hyper specialization paired with the AI knowledge is what would make them extremely competitive in the market. And so the problem I see with most creatives is they're blocking out creative AI completely due to the current narrative that it's bad, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think all that will do is let the creatives that are embracing it get ahead of you. Learn the tools or risk falling behind. Artist David Choe just released a video about AI and shared some of the same sentiments that I've shared in this video.
The bomb's been dropped. This is the end of humanity as we know it, but the way we humans survive is we adapt. So instead of trying to sue AI, complaining, we just accept. You accept that this thing is here, and now what are you going to do about it?
Most high-level creatives and artists are embracing AI tools, at least to some capacity. They recognize that the cat is out of the bag, AI is here to stay, so they might as well adapt and figure out ways to inject it within their process. But I think most are scared to share that sentiment because of the overwhelming backlash and hatred towards creative AI right now. So that's why I wanted to create this video, to share a sentiment that I think a lot of creatives are thinking but may just be too scared to vocalize it online. As a final note, I wanted to acknowledge that the hatred towards AI and these tools does not come from a random place. There's real ethical problems and issues that are completely valid, and I'm not going to go into that in depth in this video. I think that's a whole separate video and could be a 20-minute video in and of itself. But to that, I will say that over time, these issues tend to work themselves out. These companies will likely face huge lawsuits and things will be made right. So in the meantime, you can choose to be an internet warrior, or you can choose to get your hands dirty with the tools yourself. Because in 10 years from now or 20 years from now, these things that we're arguing over will probably be irrelevant and sorted out. And I would have rather spent this time learning the tools and embracing them and figuring out how I can get ahead with them than to argue and basically get nowhere. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to get a healthy discussion going. It's a complicated topic. I tried to distill a couple of my thoughts, at least my current thoughts, in this video. If you enjoyed this video and got value, please consider giving me a subscribe and giving the video a like. And with that, I will see you in the next one.